You once changed how you walked because a stranger was watching. You've rehearsed a text to someone you'll never meet again. You've felt your stomach drop over a single gray tick that wouldn't turn blue. And somewhere, right now, there's a person whose opinion you're quietly terrified of, who has not thought about you once today. Maybe ever. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A huge chunk of your behavior is being run by people whose approval means absolutely nothing, and you can't switch it off. Let's talk about why your brain keeps handing the keys to strangers. Start with a weird question. What is self-esteem actually for? You probably think of it as how much you like yourself. Psychologist Mark Leary says that's backwards. In the 1990s, Leary proposed something called sociometer theory. The idea that your self-esteem isn't a score of how good you are. It's a gauge, like the fuel light in a car. Except it's not measuring petrol. It's measuring one thing: how accepted you are by other people. When people include you, the needle climbs and you feel great. When you sense rejection, the needle drops and you feel like garbage. That sinking feeling when someone leaves you on red, that's not weakness. That's the gauge doing its job, flashing a warning that your social fuel is running low. And this gauge is embarrassingly easy to trip. In the lab, researchers use a game so simple it's almost insulting. It's called Cyberball. You sit at a screen and toss a virtual ball back and forth with two other players. That's it. That's the entire game. For a while, everyone throws to everyone. Then, the other two quietly stop throwing to you. They just play with each other while you stand there, ballless, like the digital version of being picked last in gym class. It's a cartoon. It's pixels. It means nothing. And people still feel genuinely hurt. Their mood drops. They report feeling rejected, invisible, and weirdly annoyed over a ball that does not exist. Kipling Williams, who built the game, has run it on thousands of people. The result is almost always the same. It stings. Now, here's where it stops making any sense at all. You'd assume that if the stakes were obviously fake, you'd shrug it off. You would be wrong. In one version, researchers told participants the other players weren't even people, just a computer running a script. Didn't matter. They still felt rejected. In another study, people were told the players freezing them out belonged to a group they personally despised. Think about that. You're being snubbed by people you can't stand, whose approval should be worth less than nothing. It still hurt. Let that land. Your social gauge does not check whether the person matters. It just registers one thing. I was left out. Alarm. You cannot reason your way out of it, because the part of you that feels it never took a logic class. So, why is this thing so paranoid? Why would evolution build a brain that panics over a pixel ball? Because for almost all of human history, being excluded wasn't an awkward afternoon. It was a death sentence. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors survived in small groups, maybe a few dozen people. The group shared the food, watched the kids, and fought off the things with teeth. Get cast out, and you didn't find yourself on a solo wilderness journey. You died, cold, hungry, and alone, usually fast. So the brains that made it weren't the relaxed ones. They were the ones that treated a frown from the tribe like a 5-alarm fire. The anxious, approval, hungry, please don't leave me brain survived and had kids. Congratulations, you inherited one, which would be totally fine if you still lived in a group of 30. You don't, and this is the glitch. Your sociometer was built to track a small, fixed tribe whose opinions genuinely decided whether you lived. It cannot count. It has no idea that the tribe it's now monitoring includes the barista, 3 coworkers you don't even like, a comment section, 2,000 strangers online, and that one person from school you haven't spoken to in a decade. To your brain, every single one of them is a tribe member who might vote you off the island, so you perform. For the waiter, for the algorithm, for people whose names you will genuinely forget by Tuesday. It's your ancient survival system, trying its absolute hardest in a world it was never designed for. And it doesn't just feel bad in some abstract, emotional way. Your brain seems to file social rejection in roughly the same drawer as a physical injury. The same alarm system that fires for a stubbed toe gets dragged in when you're left out. Now, scientists still argue about exactly how literal that overlap is, so don't go quoting me at dinner. But here's a finding that's hard to wriggle out of. In one study, researchers gave people acetaminophen, yes, the boring painkiller in Tylenol, every day for 3 weeks. The result? Their hurt feelings from social rejection measurably went down compared to a placebo group. Read that again. A pill for headaches dulled the pain of being left out. Your heartbreak and your headache, it turns out, are on speaking terms. And now for the cruelest joke of the whole thing. You're burning all this energy worrying what people think of you. The twist: they are barely thinking about you at all. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. You walk around feeling like there's a spotlight following you, certain everyone clocked the stain on your shirt, or the dumb thing you said in 2019. In one classic study, researchers made students wear a gloriously embarrassing t-shirt, a giant photo of Barry Manilow, into a room full of people. The students were positive everyone noticed. In reality, around half as many people clocked it as they'd assumed. Everyone else was too busy starring in their own anxiety movie, worrying about their own shirt. The audience you're so afraid of is mostly an audience of one: you. So here's where it leaves us. You cannot delete the gauge. It's older than language, wired in deep, and it is the reason your bloodline exists. So show it a little gratitude, even as it ruins your Tuesdays. But you can do one thing your ancestors never could. You can choose whose vote actually counts. The gauge can't tell the difference between the people who matter and the people who don't. That part, that's your job now. So the next time your stomach drops over a stranger's opinion, ask the one question your brain will never ask on its own. Does this person's approval actually change my life? Usually the honest answer is no. They're not your tribe. They just tripped the alarm. The people who truly matter are a far shorter list than your nervous system thinks. Spend your worry there, and let the strangers keep their opinions. You are never going to remember them by Tuesday anyway.